Hey, welcome to Bank Chats 2 Cents, a shorter Bank Chats episode where Drew and I talk a little bit about what's happening in the news financially or any cool topics that we just find.
But that's by our definition of cool, which may or may not be your definition of cool.
We're hoping you're on the same page if you're listening to this. So we're breaking into the shopping season, the holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Halloween's finally over, so the next 2 months...
Hey, finally over. You love Halloween.
I love Halloween, but I love Black Friday too.
Fair enough. Okay.
We're breaking into the shopping season and the retail season. So what does that mean for businesses? What does that mean for big businesses, small businesses, consumers? How do people spend their money?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point because, a bank will hold your money. A bank will be able to hopefully pay you interest to offer you a loan. But at the end of the day, your money is being spent somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, and that goes for businesses too. If you're a business, you're spending money. You're buying inventory, you have overhead costs, you have employees to pay who also want more money this time of year to be able to go out and buy more stuff. And so I think you're right. This is a big time to spend money. And I think both consumers and businesses have some things that they could learn from this.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, where are consumers spending their money most? Are they buying stuff online still? Are they buying stuff in store? Are they looking for deals? I mean, everybody's looking for deals. That's the whole point of Black Friday, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
So
I was a huge Black Friday shopper. I mean, I'd get up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was that guy that would stand in line for 2-3 hours in front of.
You were the guy who hated whenever I worked in retail. That was like making me get up. You
probably waited on me at Circuit City. I mean, there was a year that I was there at 4 o'clock in the morning buying giant. I was that kid that had the giant subwoofers in the back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we installed a lot of those back in the day.
Oh no, I installed it myself.
Did you?
My uncle's an electrical engineer, so that was he was in heaven installing a capacitor and
that's cool.
Big amplifier. Yeah,
that's cool. You had no trunk space, but you had you had base.
Right. Yes.
No, yeah, I spent a lot of years in retail, and that was a thing back in the day. Like, they don't even do that as much anymore, I don't think, is like the 2 a.m. openings and stuff like that. Like
now everything opens on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like the last couple of years, though, even some of them have stopped opening on Thanksgiving because I think there was a lot of pushback from people saying, look, these people need time with their families too. Like, you can't, but with online shopping, I think a lot of that craziness has gone away. You can go online and you can buy a TV at a good price from Amazon from your living room. You don't have to stand in line and do whatever. But I think that really comes to kind of what we wanted to talk about today, which was the idea that every year is Small Business Saturday now, right? Since 2010, we have Small Business Saturday on that weekend. So you have Thanksgiving, then you have Black Friday, then you have Small Business Saturday, and then you have apparently a day off in the middle.
Yeah, then
you get Cyber Monday.
You get Sunday, the day of rest, then Cyber Monday.
Yeah, somebody started, I think, trying to call it Green Sunday at some point.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't take off.
Okay.
November 30th this year is Small Business Saturday, which is late in the year. This is a shorter holiday shopping season, too, by the way, than what we've been used to in the last couple of years. Because Thanksgiving's late.
It is this year.
It's like the 28th of the month, which means that there's only really like 3.5 weeks.
Thank goodness that Amazon is 1 to 2 days for Prime.
Yeah, really. No kidding.
But there's the cutoff. I mean, they say, what is it, like 2 weeks before Christmas? Like, that's your guaranteed shipping day.
Oh, yeah, like because, I mean, you know what? I got to say, if you're not tipping your FedEx, UPS, mail carrier this time of year and you're ordering a bunch of stuff online, shame on you.
Yeah. Thank your driver on Amazon.
Yeah.
A card in the mail. Yeah.
Yeah, because my gosh, those people, those men and women, they are hoofing it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the if you're listening to this while you're driving around in a delivery truck, you're awesome. No, so I think that, if you are a small business and you're trying to get in on this Black Friday shopping stuff, maybe there's ways to do that, and maybe it's okay if you're not as big as you think you should be by now, that kind of thing. You know, I mean, because marketing's interesting around this time of year, and that was really the topic that you had originally floated was
marketing for
that's an unintentional pun because we're going to talk about the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
But I think of it this way too. Like, even with this podcast, like you know how many times I've said like, oh, I wish we had like more listenership, or I wish we had like more downloads, or I wish we had more. But I have to understand that we're a year in, and it's taking some time to find our footing, to find out what works, what doesn't work. And small businesses probably get frustrated like that too. You want your business to take off. You want your business to be this huge thing.
Right.
And you might be 3 or 4 years in and you're like, it's not turning into what I want it to. But as long as you're making steady progress, you're doing what needs to be done. You're not going to have a 100-year parade on year 3.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it depends on what you have into the business when you first started too. If you are in a business that has a storefront, that you have a lot of overhead, you've sunk a lot of money into this business, but it's going to take you 5-6 years to turn a profit. Yeah, it's a little discouraging.
Yeah. Yeah, and small businesses, although I don't know, this might not be true anymore, but small businesses generally are brick and mortar, small town businesses.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't know anymore.
But I guess there are probably entrepreneurs that are doing a lot more stuff online only to start.
Yeah. I can open an Etsy store in 20 minutes and start selling, something.
Yeah, but you're also selling what a lot of other people are selling.
Right.
So how do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, it's saturated, right.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I watch Shark Tank sometimes on Friday nights, and it's basically an hour-long commercial for 3 or 4 different products. But I do see a lot more entrepreneurs that they start out like direct to consumer. They're not trying to get their stuff into big box stores or things like that. They're trying to sell directly from their own website and stuff because it's more cost effective.
Yeah.
But you were saying something that I thought was interesting, which is that you said that Gen Zers are actually starting to want to do stuff more in person.
Yeah, they want to have the product in their hands as opposed to window shopping online.
Yeah.
And I think the statistic was something like 30% of those Gen Zers shop in brick and mortar stores because they don't want to wait for the shipping. Even though shipping now is, 1 to 2 days, that's not fast enough.
We talked about it. When I was a kid, it was shipping and handling. First of all, there was shipping and handling. Right.
Yes,
so you had to pay for shipping and handling. And it was usually like $19.99.
Plus $5, yeah.
Right. And then you got it in like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You forgot you ordered it.
Yeah.
And it would show up on your front door. And then by then you were kind of like, why did I order this thing? Because it's actually a piece of crap that I looked at 3 a.m.
Yeah, there's a newer version out already. Yeah.
So 2 days is just not short enough of a time now, apparently, it's that instant gratification.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, you may start seeing more small businesses taking the lead because department stores, like traditional department stores, your Sears stores, things like that, right? They had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But their square footage limited you to your selection. You couldn't have 100 different televisions to choose from. You had to pick from like 10 or 12, right?
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting balancing act to see how small businesses sort of maybe take that lead of like, all right, well, I don't have to be all things to all people, but I can have a lot of variety in one thing.
It's going to be more specialized, yeah. So you're going to have a TV store, like you had said. That's going to have the 50 TVs, but they're only going to sell TVs.
But that's very 1950s.
Yeah.
Like 1950s, 1960s, where it was like you had the TV store, the music store, the whatever store, the dress shop, whatever, that had the variety, but they only carried that one thing. And then these Kmarts and Sears and stuff that wanted to be all things to all people. Maybe those things stay more online, but if you want something instantly, you're going to actually be looking at small businesses because it takes a lot for a Walmart to open. Like, Walmart has to build a building and there's overhead and there's insurance and there's trucking and there's all this stuff that has to go into filling that store.
Yeah.
That costs a lot of money, a lot more money than just direct shipping it from a warehouse in Montana to your front porch.
Yeah.
So
but they keep the prices low. So how do they do that? I mean, how do you?
I think it's got to be volume.
It has to be volume. Yeah.
So that's an interesting question. Is Gen Z willing to pay a premium to have it now?
Right.
Is it going to be the reverse? Is it going to be, we paid $19.95 to have plus $5 to have it shipped. Are they going to be willing to pay a premium, whatever it is, on that item to get it now?
Yeah.
Because you probably are going to pay more in a store than you would online. But you have the satisfaction of getting it immediately. That's interesting. Last holiday season, people spent over $105.2 billion. I don't even know how to say that. That number's so large. $105.2 billion spent between November 1st and November 27th of 2023. So in 1 month, people spent over $100 billion. Is that just in the United States or is that worldwide?
I don't know. It has to be worldwide.
That's crazy. Before buying, 80% of shoppers are influenced by something they see online. And then during the holidays, bid prices can jump by 140% compared to the rest of the year. So my guess is that's on things like eBay.
I would assume, yeah.
Because you're finding that old thing that your, I don't know, wife or whatever like grew up with, and you're trying to find. What are you bidding on eBay? I don't know.
So I used to help out a guy. He used to sell a lot of stuff on eBay, and I would do his inventory and do all the research, and he would buy up all of these antiques, and so I became like a little antique expert. But yeah, different seasons.
The Jeff Matevish Roadshow.
Yes.
We're going to have a live in-person podcast recording, and Jeff's going to appraise your stuff.
Yes. But I mean, he was just a local guy, and he had marketing tactics as well. He would start pushing more products in November. He would discount everything that he had 20%, 10 to 20%. He would make sure that any holiday-related, vintage decorations like Christmas decorations.
Oh, yeah,
make sure
cool.
Those are online, and those prices were at a premium. So, I mean, yeah, there's a season for eBay shopping and that kind of stuff, and I could see the prices jumping on certain items.
You sell trains and stuff like that?
I never sold trains for him. I sold toy cars for him, but not trains.
Yeah, trains were always big around Christmas whenever I was a kid, like around the tree and stuff like that.
Lionel, so expensive.
Yeah, my dad has some Lionel stuff at home. He doesn't put it out anymore, but I'm sure it's like vintage Lionel.
Yeah.
It's not like
I have too. Yeah.
And
we have a cat, so I don't put mine out either.
Yeah. Yeah, and what was the other one that my dad has? He has a Lionel, and then my grandfather had some other kind, and I'm blanking on what it was now, but it was like even older than Lionel.
Okay.
And he has one of those. I don't know if it still works. But he has one of those in a box somewhere too. So, I mean, so we tend to think of the holiday shopping season as like a good time for deals, but sometimes it's actually a good time to make some money if you're
Depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. Or you're an entrepreneur or a person like that that's selling stuff on eBay. People are willing to pay a little bit more this time of year. And we've even talked on the cybersecurity episodes about how this time of year you got to be careful too sometimes about where you're shopping, because people will stand up a website and try to coax you in with some really good price or really good deal, and it's all fake, right? And you end up losing money. So be careful and shop where you normally would shop. If you're shopping on a big, if you
don't normally get an email from a Kohl's or something like that, but all of a sudden you're getting flooded with emails from Kohl's. Maybe second guess clicking on those links.
Yeah, figure out why you're on that list all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah. And make sure you're not going to COALS.
Yes, yeah.
Instead of KOHLS.
Yep.
Because it's crazy what people will do. In-store shopping insights. 60% of people prefer in-store shopping to see and touch products. I kind of get that. Like you were saying about that with the Gen Zers, that they want to see stuff and touch stuff. But I used to joke all the time that Circuit City and or Best Buy was just Amazon's showroom.
Yeah.
Because people would want to come in and see whatever it was that they were going to buy, especially televisions, or they'd want to hear a speaker and hear what it sounded like, but then they would leave and go home and buy it online.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the product, yeah. And the price too. I mean, but I'm opposite. If it's something expensive like a TV or a sound system or something like that, I want to buy it in the store. Because I know it's safe. It wasn't jostled around on a UPS truck and all that kind of stuff.
It was jostled around while it got to the store, though.
And less chance of being broken, I guess. I don't know.
I worked retail. Those things get abused.
But yeah, for
I get your point.
Bigger stuff, I'd prefer buying in store, which was weird. Yeah, now it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
Also depends on how easy it is to return. So
that's a big deal.
If I can return it, there's a big item and I can return it easier in store, I will definitely buy it in store.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. That's a big deal. And things like clothes and shoes.
I've never bought clothes online.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. Even though they put sizing charts and things like that on there, it's hard sometimes to buy clothes and shoes.
Everything's cut differently. I mean, you can have 2 or 3 pair of pants that are the exact same sizes, but they all fit different.
Yeah. All due respect to Zappos and stuff, which has made a huge, Zappos is awesome.
Yeah.
Their customer service is fantastic and all that stuff, but still buying it, unless and even shoes, I'm an adult. I've worn my feet have been the same size for the last 30 years.
Uh-huh.
But yet depending on the type of shoe, I'll range anywhere from like a 12, 12 and a half, 13, and to have them shipped to your house and then find out they don't fit and then have to send them back, it's a pain.
Yeah, yeah.
42% of people favor local businesses over national chains, which I think that's interesting.
That's good.
Yeah. And only 9% of people this year plan to shop entirely online, which I think that's really
low.
Yeah, it is a really low, because everything you see in the news is just more and more people shopping online, but only now it says entirely. That doesn't mean they won't shop online. It just means they're not going to buy everything online.
I'm curious what that stat was right after like COVID. Like, has that drastically since then, or was it still around?
That's a really good question. And honestly, I bet COVID has had a lot to do with a lot of the shift back toward wanting to do stuff in person, because I think people got really tired of just being in their own house, staring at the walls and shopping online. I mean,
could be.
I know I did. It's not like I'm not the type of person that is out at the restaurants or bars or whatever every weekend or going to some big function all the time. But man, I was getting tired of being at home like constantly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Shopping in person, I think this may sound counterintuitive, I guess, because there's so much variety online. But shopping in person gives you the opportunity to stumble on something that maybe you didn't expect to find.
Yeah, like a treasure,
Yeah.
More of a thrill of the hunt type thing.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's, that you go into a store looking for curtains and you end up walking out with something completely unrelated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because you had the opportunity to kind of walk past and go, ooh, that's neat.
Yeah. Or you found a sale. It wasn't like something that came flooding into your email or something like that. You found a specific sale on a specific item.
Yeah.
You feel good about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe there's something to be said for that too.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So according to this, 30% of shoppers start shopping as early as October. I remember growing up, we were not allowed to buy anything for ourselves after October started.
Oh, well, that's probably a good rule. I wish my mom followed that rule.
And I know my wife, she'll start shopping as early as Christmas the year prior. Like we
probably get some good deals.
We have a drawer in our house that eventually turns into a closet in our house of stuff she has acquired over the year. But she doesn't stress at the end of the year shopping. She's got her shopping done. But she's also that person that likes to go out the day before Christmas and get the last minute deals, or I have 3 items for person A and 4 items for person B, so we got to get 1 more item for person A.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from there. And you're always trying to guess. Like, so what do you and your wife do? Do you and your wife buy each other? Like, do you have a set rule that we each get each other 2 things or 3 things or something? Or do you?
It starts like that, but it never ends like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Although there was one year that we actually stuck to it. We decided to get ourselves some upgraded phones and an Apple Watch. And stuff like that. And we just said look, this is our gift to each other, because it was a sizable expense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so we did that. But yeah, there's usually this sort of, I don't want to know what you got me, but I want to know how many things you got me.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, me and my wife shop different too. I'll do all of my shopping for her for Christmas, usually online, and she'll do everything in stores.
So do you have to have it shipped to your parents' house or something so that she doesn't open the package when it comes?
No, I just tell her, don't, if it's got my name on it, it's for me. I disable all of the notifications on my Alexa devices, so it doesn't say, hey, such and such package arrived. It just says, hey, you got a delivery.
Yeah. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
So that whenever the Porsche pirate came by and took it from you, you can go hunt them down.
Yep.
See, I have the advantage where I can have stuff shipped to my parents or to
I have done that before. Yeah.
Especially if it's bigger, but because I'm one of those people, I like the surprise. I get more of a charge out of the surprise of giving something to somebody than I do really getting a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, but if she knows something showed up, then she kind of already knows oh, that box is about this big or about that size. So I this way there's no
Sherlock Holmes. Okay.
She's a snooper.
Okay.
She really is. You
guys share an Amazon account? Does it make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So. But she's a bit of a snooper, so I got to be careful about that stuff.
Yeah.
But what else you got?
31% use buy now, pay later services. We wanted to touch on the buy now, pay
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that in one of we actually did an episode on buy now, pay later.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
so it's becoming more popular. I again have never used it even to date, but
it's basically reverse layaway though, right? Isn't that what we kind of talked about? Like
it's a payment plan. You're right.
Yeah, but I remember layaway in department stores. I remember going to.
I don't remember using them, but I remember them.
Yeah. I was pretty young to actually be using them, but I remember my grandparents were big on layaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember traveling with my grandma to go and we got to stop and pay the layaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay. Whatever that means.
56% of Gen Zers look to TikTok and 38% of boomers use Facebook when shopping online. My parents, I know last year used Facebook. I don't think they bought on Facebook, but they got ideas from Facebook and bought elsewhere.
So like the ads on Facebook or like the Facebook marketplace type stuff?
The ads on Facebook.
Okay.
So advertising on Facebook and TikTok.
I think it's funny how social media has developed these silos between generations. I think it's really fun because at one point social media was just for the young people.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, well, platforms like Facebook are for the older Gen Xers and boomers.
Yeah.
You have your TikTok.
I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I hear my parents saying, "Hey,
you're on Snapchat." Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm too old for buying stuff on TikTok, but I'm too young for buying stuff on Facebook.
On Facebook,
yeah. It's weird hearing my parents say, "Oh, I got that idea from Facebook."
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be something I should be saying.
That's true. I get you. Yeah. So let's talk marketing about this stuff, because marketing is also a big part of what causes consumers to buy and what businesses use to get you to buy.
Yeah, sure.
So, when we talk marketing, you had brought up a really good point, and I think this is interesting. The Macy's Day Parade is probably one of the biggest marketing platforms.
Yeah, next to the Super Bowl, definitely.
Yeah, which for the context we are using Super Bowl is as a non-marketing term because I don't want the NFL coming at me.
Sure.
But the big game, do you know that the Super Bowl is actually trademarked?
Oh,
the name the Super Bowl is actually
sure, yeah.
You're not allowed to use it without the NFL's permission.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's crazy. You have to say everything has to be like the big game or something like that. When you're talking about stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, the Thanksgiving Day Parade for Macy's is obviously a big spectacle and everybody likes it, and it's a big holiday tradition and everybody likes the parade, the balloons and the bands, but it's a huge marketing platform. It really is.
But it didn't start out that way. It was much smaller.
Yeah. And it was for Macy's specifically.
Right.
But
it included zoo animals. I mean, there was no floats. There was no balloons. It was zoo animals walking down the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I knew that they had balloons relatively early on. And they used
in the 20s.
Yeah, and they used to just let them go. They used to let them go at the end of the parade, and then Macy's had a promotion for a short time where if you found one of the balloons after it came down and you returned it to Macy's, you got like a gift certificate to the store.
I wouldn't want to carry. I don't know how big they were back then, but I wouldn't want to have to carry one of those balloons back to Macy's.
I guess it depends on how big the gift certificate was for.
Well, yes.
But that was kind of a marketing gimmick in and of itself.
Yeah.
If you found a balloon around and you returned it to Macy's, you got like a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got?
I think that's all I have.
And that wraps it up.
Yeah. Happy shopping.
Thanks, Jeff. This podcast focuses on having valuable conversations on various topics related to banking and financial health. The podcast is grounded in having open conversations with professionals and experts, with the goal of helping to take some of the mystery out of financial and related topics, as learning about financial products and services can help you make more informed financial decisions. Please keep in mind that the information contained within this podcast and any resources available for download from our website or other resources relating to bank chats is not intended and should not be understood or interpreted to be financial advice. The host, guests, and production staff of Bank Chats expressly recommend that you seek advice from a trusted financial professional before making financial decisions. The host of Bank Chats is not an attorney, accountant, or financial advisor, and the program is simply intended as one source of information. The podcast is not a substitute for a financial professional who is aware of the facts and circumstances of your individual situation. Thank you for listening. Please check out our full library of episodes, which can be found on the AmeriServ.com website. You can also download or stream the podcast from your favorite podcast app.